Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Becoming Proactive with Soumya Agarwal. So, this is the lecture number 3 for chapter number 5 Business Level Strategies. In this, we have started with Porter's 5 forces, and I have already explained you 4 forces. So, let us just quickly revise whatever we have learned. We have discussed about threat of substitutes, we have discussed about buyers, suppliers, new entrants. So basically what did we discuss? We discussed that there are 5 forces. Whenever you are deciding, or whenever you are entering into the industry, you should be aware that how you are going to deal with the 5 forces. So these are your new entrants, then your buyers, then your suppliers, threat of suppliers, right? Then your substitutes. And now we are going to discuss the 5th force, that is your rivals. Who are the rivals? Have you listened this word rivals or rivalry? So basically, suppose in a industry, like in the toothpaste industry, there is Pepsodent also, Colgate also, Close-Up also, Meswak also, Patanjali toothpaste is also there. So all these 5 toothpastes, who are they? They are the competitors. They are producing the product for the fulfilling the same purpose, for cleaning the teeth, right? So these are the competitors. Okay, so the you can say the synonym for competitors is your rivals. That means the businesses which are competing in the same industry with the same purpose are your rivals. Okay, so let us just discuss with the last force. So rivalry between existing players is quite obvious. This is what is normally understood as competition. Okay, we generally call this word rivalry as competition. For any player, the competitors influence strategic decisions at different strategic levels. The impact is more evident at functional level, like in the prices being charged, more aggressive advertising and building pressure on cost, product, and so on. So, what do you mean by these lines? These are important. So, see, you already know that there are 3 levels to an organization: corporate level, business level, and your functional level. At the corporate level and at the business level, basically the strategy formulation part is done, right? That they do the analysis that what all changes might occur in the industry, what all changes might occur in the future, or in the consumers preferences, right? So based on the various factors and analysis, the business level strategies and the corporate level strategies include, means after discussing with the functional level strategies, they frame some strategies. So the formulation part is done at the 2 levels, and then the implementation, the basic implementation responsibility lies with the functional level. Okay, so suppose you have made a plan, like I have also given you one study plan. So this is what we have formulated a strategy. The implementation of that particular plan may differ from one child to another. Like some people may follow it very seriously, they may fulfill all the targets, they may achieve all the targets each day, and in that way they will be effectively using that plan, means the implementation will be effective. But on the other hand, there might be few students who are not able to complete targets, daily targets, and also they will not be able to follow my plan which I have framed for them, right? So in that way their implementation is somewhere weak. So whether you will succeed or whether you will not be able to succeed basically depends upon the implementation level, and the basic responsibility of implementation is at the functional level. So this is why this is important, that you should have a very proper implementation of the whatever the strategy you have formulated. I always tell you that it is not compulsory that you are following only my plan. This plan which I make is for those who are not able to make plan on their own, but it is very compulsory that you should make a strategy, you should make plan, and the most importantly you should follow it, because if you are failing to plan, then you are planning to fail. Okay, so that is why always make a plan, whether you are able to follow it or not. Try to follow it. There might be some changes, okay, but still after adding that, amending with your plan, you can follow it again. Like there might be situations which are not under your control, so you have to coordinate with the situations and you have to coordinate with the studies as well. For that you need a proper plan and a proper implementation. So moving back to the topic, this is what they are saying, that for any player the competitors influence strategic decisions at different levels, and the impact is more evident at functional level. So I basically told you that why is it more evident at functional level. I hope you got my point. Now let's just move further. So the intensity of rivalry in an industry is a significant determinant of an industry's attractiveness and profitability. The intensity of rivalry can influence the cost of suppliers, distribution, and of attracting customers, and thus can directly affect the profitability. The more intensive the rivalry, the less attractive is the industry. So they are basically saying that the impact of rivalry is on two things. First is the attractiveness of the industry, and next is the profitability of the industry. That simply means that if I have very aggressive competitors, then my target, my aim would be to compete with them so that they do not move forward and I do not move backward in the competition. So my basic target will not be to increase profitability at that stage. My focus will move towards competing with them. My focus will move to stopping them from leading and taking me or pulling me back in the competition. Okay, so this is what they are saying, that the more intensive the rivalry is, the less will be the attractiveness of your industry, because it is not compulsory that you will be able to earn profit if there is a lot of competition. You will be your target will, instead of earning profit, if there is a lot of competition in the market, then instead of earning more and more profit, your focus will move to completing with the cost that you have incurred. Your target will be that though I am not able to earn profit, but at least I should cover the cost which I have incurred. So this is what they are saying, that if the intensity of rivalry, the intensity of your rivals, the aggressiveness of your rivals will be more, then your industry can be very less attractive, and the profitability will also be affected. So rivalry among competitors tends to be cutthroat and an industry's profitability is low. When, so they are saying that this is when, means the situation which we just discussed, that our focus will move on covering the cost which we have incurred, and our profitability will become low, and our industry will our business in the industry will become less attractive. So when will this happen? So they have given few points regarding that. So this can happen if there is no clear leader in the industry. So if there will be no leader, like in the class also, in your school time, remember your school time, the teacher used to make one class monitor, and that class monitor used to lead the class representative, that person used to lead the class. Okay, so similarly in an industry, if there is a leader, so there is a sense of discipline in the industry, and the intensity of rivalry tends to be a bit lower, because there is one industry leader who is the most dominating one. Okay, so that is why in case there is no leader, then there is a lot of hustle bustle, the competition is very intensive, and in that case there is a war. Okay, the war in the market. Okay, not with the swords and that guns and all, no, We are talking about the war of fluctuating the prices and trying to try to defend ourselves and try to make our competitors back pull back in the competition. So this will happen if there is no industry clear leader. There will be a lot of hustle bustle, and there will be a lot of intensive rivalry. Okay, then the second point is, if there are a lot of competitors, so if the competitors in the industry are numerous, the profitability will be low, because everyone will try to exist in the market, and in that case everyone will try to cover the cost they have incurred at least. Okay, like suppose there is one example like Ruafza. If you have not if you don't know what is Ruafza, let me just tell you that it is basically you can say a flavored drink which we just mix it in milk or water and or shikanji, and then we drink it. So it is generally used in summers. Okay, so I personally do not find any substitute of Ruafza, because the taste, the flavor that Ruafza has, no other drink has that. Okay, what is that? The Ruafza is basically exercising monopoly, right? But on the other hand, the Bonvita, Horlicks, and Complan, so all these are energy drinks. So these are your competitors. These are the rivals. So they are numerous. Okay, like it's not that there is no substitute for that. So that is why what happens is the profitability of Ruafza, you can say, will be higher, but the profitability of all the competitors of energy drinks like Bonvita, Horlicks, Complan, these will be low. Because what will happen, let's just discuss it with the help of one example. Suppose the price of Bonvita is rupees 20. I'm just supposing, okay, I don't know the actual price. The price of Horlicks is suppose rupees 25, and the price of Complan is rupees 27. So all these three are energy drinks. So what will you as a consumer prefer? If the taste is also same of all the three drinks, you will obviously prefer the Bonvita, because it is lower. The price of Bonvita is lower than the other two, and the purpose is also solved. The energy drink, you will just mix it in the milk and drink it and have energy. Okay, so what do we mean? So in that case, what will happen? Suppose the cost of the product was rupees 18, 18 and 18. Okay, so Bonvita was thinking that he will earn rupees 2 profit. Then it's actually, I'll make it here. Okay, so Bonvita was thinking that he will earn a profit of rupees 2. Then the price of Horlicks was rupees 20. 25. So in that case, Horlicks will earn a profit of rupees 7, and Complan will earn a profit of rupees 9. Okay, but what will happen, as the purpose is same, more and more consumers shift towards Bonvita only. So because of this, what happened? Horlicks also had to reduce its price to rupees 20, and Complan also had to reduce its price to rupees 20. So in that case, what happened? The profitability of Horlicks and Complan both reduced to 2 from 7, because they also had to reduce the price, because no one was purchasing it and everyone was shifting towards Bonvita only. Okay, so if there are a lot of competitors in the industry, so therefore the profitability of the firms is generally low, and the main focus is existing in the industry. Okay, to just survive in the industry and not to earn more and more profit. Like in this case only, you can see that if they had not reduced their price, would they be able to survive in the competition? If Horlicks and Complan would not have reduced their price, so would they able to survive in the competition? No, because everyone was preferring Bonvita due to its lower prices. Okay, so this is what if the competitors are numerous. Okay, then the third point is competitors operate with high fixed costs, just aiming for better return on investment with more fierce tactics. So they are saying that if your competitors have high fixed cost, we will discuss this topic detail here. I'm just telling you this in short. So if your competitors are having high fixed cost, that means they have invested in a machinery or anything like that. So in that case, their profitability would be more, and because they will aim to return on better return. So in that case, your profitability would be low because you have not invested in any of that machinery or any fixed asset, but your competitors have high fixed costs. So in that way, their production can be smooth, but your production can be effective. That cannot be smooth. So therefore, your profitability can be low. Then if your competitors face high exit barriers, that means they are not able to move out of the industry. So in that case, what will happen? This situation will become, they are not able to exit now. So therefore, they will remain in the industry, and if they will remain in the industry, the competitors will become numerous. And we already studied that if there are a lot of competitors, the profitability of all the firms is generally low. Okay, then competitors have little opportunity to differentiate their products. Like in this example only, we discussed that the purpose of all three, Complan, Horlicks, Bonvita, all three was just to mix it in the milk and drink it like an energy drink. Okay, so there is no differentiation on the basis of which customers will choose anything extra in that. Okay, so this is what, if there is less differentiation, then the profitability is low. Then the industry faces slow or diminished growth. That means if the growth of industry is slow, then of course you cannot make profit to a large extent. Okay, so these are the reasons why the profitability is low. Okay, so you can write here why the profitability is low. Industry's profitability is low. Rivals vary, among competitors tends to be cutthroat. So you can write just this. Okay, so these are the points. I would recommend you to highlight these points. Okay, now there is some discussion of these points in detail, so let's just discuss it. First point is industry leader. So here we discuss that if there is no clear leader in the industry, the profitability will be low. So how will it be low? Let's just study. A strong industry leader can discourage price wars by Kiplining initiatives of such activity. Because of greater financial resources, a leader can generally outlast small rivals in a price war. Knowing this, smaller rivals avoid initiating such a contest. Examples: India's domestic air travel industry has no definite leader, and hence we often see a cutthroat price war. So they have given an example. They are saying that India's domestic air travel industry does not have any leader. Therefore, you can see that there is a lot of competition and a lot of price war. But if there will be a clear industry leader, so what will happen? He will discourage others. Like suppose there are three industries. Okay, there are three industries in a market: A, B, and C. So A has a market share of 70%. Then C has a market share of 10%, and B has a market share of 20%. Okay, so here A is the leader. Now what will happen? If C fluctuates the price, like the price were rupees 10, the actual price which had to be charged was rupees 10, but C started charging rupees 8 for the same product. So what will happen in that case? What will happen? That the customers will shift to C from A. From B, they will shift to C because he has reduced the price from 10 to 8. Okay, all the three dealing same product only, but they have different market shares. Okay, so in that way, what will happen? A comes to know about it that C has reduced the price from rupees 10 to 8, and he feels that C is earning more and more customers now. So what will A do? A will simply reduce the price to rupees 7. and now all the customers will run to A because A is already a dominating leader. A is already a strong industry leader. He already has such a huge market share, and the remaining of the market share will also move to A. So in that way, C will, what will C do? That if C will have a fear, that if I reduce price, what will happen if A will also reduce price? I'll lose my share, which existing share also. Okay. So this is what happens, that if there is a strong industry leader, there is a sense of discipline in the industry. They will say that no problem, we are not able to earn much profit, at least we are able to survive. Because if the industry leader will fluctuate price, you will lose the existing share also. Okay. So that is why if there is one strong leader, one industry leader, they can discourage price wars, and everyone just tries to survive in the industry. They keep their profitability low and charge nominal prices. Okay. But if there is no industry leader, then each and everyone just tries to defeat each and everyone. Okay, they just try that we should move forward. But if there is an industry leader, everyone just remains silent, and they just remain happy in their existing product, in their existing share, in their existing profitability. Okay. So I hope that you could understand. I am just summarizing the industry leader point in Hindi for the students who understand Hindi much better. तो इसमें क्या है ना, देखो, अगर आपके पास में कोई ऐसे, जैसे मैंने ये एग्जांपल दिया ना ए का, तो ए के पास में इतना सारा शेयर है, ठीक है, तो अब देखो सी ने रिड्यूस कर दिया था प्राइस, लेकिन ए ने जब रिड्यूस किया ना, तो क्या हुआ कि सारे के सारे लोग ए पे ऑलरेडी इतना सारा मार्केट शेयर था, और फिर जब और लोगों को भी पता लगा तो वो भी फिर ए पे चले गए। ठीक है, एक तो वैसे ही वो देखो डोमिनेटिंग है, क्योंकि आपके माइंड में भी होता है ना, जैसे आप किसी शॉप पे जाते हो तो कहीं पे बहुत ज़्यादा भीड़ है और कहीं पे कम भीड़ है, तो आपके दिमाग में क्या आता है कि ये शॉप पे ज़्यादा अच्छा सामान मिलता होगा, तभी तो ज़्यादा लोग यहाँ जा रहे हैं ना। तो यही चीज़ हो गई कि अगर ई ने भी रिड्यूस कर दिया फिर प्राइस, फिर तो जो बी और सी का शेयर है वो भी ए के पास ही चला जाएगा। तो इसलिए बी और सी कहते हैं कोई बात नहीं है, छोड़ो, हम अपना जो कमा रहे हैं हम उसी में ही खुश हैं, हमें कोई रिड्यूस नहीं करना है प्राइस, हमें कोई ज़्यादा प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी नहीं कमानी है। ठीक है, तो इसलिए अगर कोई ऐसा इंडस्ट्री लीडर होता है तो जनरली जो छोटे छोटे राइवल्स होते हैं वो चुप रहते हैं, और जो उनका एग्जिस्टिंग शेयर होता है उसी में खुश रहते हैं। ठीक है, सो आई होप दैट इफ इतना सा भी यू आर नॉट क्लियर, यू आर नाउ क्लियर विद दिस. So now moving on to the next, number of competitors. So here only we understood that if there are a lot of competitors, then the profitability will be low. So they are saying even when an industry leader exists, the leader's ability to exert pricing discipline diminishes with the increased number of rivals. Now in this case only, there were only 3 competitors, okay, in our example. But if there were a lot of competitors, so what happens? The power of A will be diminished because the share will be shared by other competitors also. Okay, so they are saying that the industry leader can also exert pressure to a particular limit only. Okay, but if the competitors are very much, the industry leader can also not do anything. Okay, so in that way, with the increased number of rivals, communicating expectations to players become more difficult. So for example, majorly in unorganized sectors like handicrafts, due to huge number of producers, the internal rivalry is immense. So they are saying because there are a lot of producers, they just fight internally only. Okay, so if there are a lot of competitors, the rivalry will be very intense. That means all the competitors will fight for earning more and more profit. So their profitability also tends to be low because they just try that they will earn more profit, and in that way what happens, they just tends to reduce the prices more and more, and their profitability becomes more low and low. Okay, so if there are a lot of competitors, the profitability generally remains low because their main focus is in just fighting. Okay. Now third point is fixed costs. So when organizations operate with high fixed costs, they are more motivated to utilize their capacity and therefore are inclined to drop prices when they have excess capacity. Like suppose I have invested rupees 10 lakh in a particular machinery and I had a factory of biscuit making. Okay, I had a factory of biscuit making, and I had recently purchased one machine of rupees 10 lakh. Okay, so what does that machine do? Before before this investment, I used to make biscuit through regular ovens and microwaves. Okay, but so in that way I could produce only 200 to 300 biscuits per day. But what happened? Uh, Now when I have invested 10 lakhs rupees, I have bought a machinery. So in that way I will be able to produce thousands of biscuits in a particular day. So in that way what will happen, before I was charging rupees 15 rupees for every packet of biscuit, but now when I have excess of capacity, I am able to produce thousands of biscuits in a day, and that too with a very less hard work. So in that way what I will do, I will reduce the price, or what I will do, I will increase the quantity in the packet which I was providing to the customers. Okay, but on the other hand, suppose there was Mr. C or Mr. A. Okay, Mr. A, let's just take Mr. A only. So Mr. A, he was my competitor. So what happened? He didn't have any such machinery, and he also just produced the biscuits, and he was just continuing with that process only, producing the biscuit with the help of oven and microwaves. Okay, so he was just able to produce only 3 to 500 biscuit in a day. But I because I have invested 10 lakh rupees, so that is why I will of course use it. Okay, and in that way I am able to produce thousands and thousands of biscuits. So suppose I was providing for rupees 15, I was providing rupees 350 gram. Okay, I was providing rupees 350 gram as a quantity before, but after I've invested, I have a lot of biscuits now. So I've increased the quantity from 350 to 370 grams. Okay, but because Mr. A, he does not have any such facility, he does not have any such investment, he still provides only only 350 gram for rupees 50. So what will happen? Of course I will win. Of course I will lead in the market, because I am providing more quantity, and that too in the same price or even less than that. Okay, so price cutting, or I can also reduce the price, like I can also charge rupees 12 or 13 instead of 15. Okay, so price cutting causes profitability to fall for all firms in the industry, as the firms seek to produce more to cover costs that must be paid regardless of the industry demand. Now there is one more problem with me. Now because I have invested 10 lakh rupees in the industry, in the machinery, so what will happen? Though it is demanded in the market, or though it is not demanded in the market, I have to utilize my machinery, and therefore I have to produce more and more. So in that way what will happen? Because I have to cover the cost, so that is why regardless whether the industry is demanding biscuit or not, I will just produce it. And in that way what can happen? My profitability can also fall. Okay, so for this reason profitability tends to be lower in industries characterized by high fixed costs. So they have given, for example, airline, telecommunications. In that case what can happen? The price cutting can cause your profitability to be low. Okay, so if there is demand for biscuits, my profitability would be high. But if the demand for the biscuits will be low, then I will be motivated to use my machinery to a very large extent. So in that way there will be excess capacity, and I will not be able to make sufficient profits. That means I will not be able to earn that profit as I was expecting. Okay, so this is what they are saying. Now exit barriers. So what is exit barriers? Exit barriers are the barriers that are not letting the firms to discontinue in the industry. Okay, so rivalry among competitors decline if few competitors leave the industry. So if few competitors leave the industry, the number of competitors reduce. And if the number of competitors reduce, of course the chances of profitability are a bit high, because you have to now compete with less people. Okay, so profitability therefore tends to be high where there are few exit barriers only. But where there are a lot of exit barriers, in that case what happens? Now exit barriers can come in many forms, like assets. Okay, like in this example only, biscuit making example only, like I found that the biscuit of demand has suddenly reduced. But because I have invested rupees 10 lakh in the industry, sorry, I'm again and again saying industry, really sorry for that, rupees 10 lakh in the machinery. So that is why this is one of the high fixed, you can say, barrier, exit barrier, because I will say that I have just invested rupees 10 lakh and how can I just leave the industry? Okay. So they are saying that asset of a firm considering, where is it lost? Asset of a firm considering exit may highly specialize and therefore a little value to any other firm. Therefore, such firm may not be able to find a buyer for its asset. Okay, so they are saying, like, suppose I found that the demand for biscuit is very very low, and therefore I thought that I will sell this 10 lakh rupees machinery and then I'll leave it. But because the biscuit of the demand for biscuit has suddenly decreased, I'm not able to find an appropriate buyer for my machinery, because there is less demand, so no one is ready to purchase my machinery, or if they are purchasing also, then they are not paying me rupees 10 lakh or 9 lakh. Okay, so in that case what will happen? I will of course not sell my machinery and I will have to exist in the industry, though I am not able to even earn more profits. Okay, so they are saying that their continued presence in the industry exerts downward pressure on the profitability of all competitors, because they are also not able to compete, also they are not able to exit. But because they are not able to exit, our competitors have increased now. Like in CA also you can say that suppose the institute has decided that they will pass 25% students in this attempt. Okay, so suppose 10,000 students appeared. So out of 10,000 students, only 2,500 have to be passed. Okay, but say the number of students reduced from 10,000 to 8,000. 10,000 to 8,000. So in that way, out of 8,000 only, 2,000 students will pass. But here what was happening? Out of 10,000, only 2,500 were passing. Okay, so they are saying this only, that if there will be less number of competitors, your profitability will be more. But if there are more number of competitors, your profitability would be less. So if they are not able to leave the industry because there are high fixed cost barrier, high exit barriers, so that is why the profitability of everyone will become low because of their continued presence. Okay, then product differentiation. Now in an example of Complan and Bonvita, suppose there are a lot of flavors, okay, like strawberry and your chocolate and kesar pista, and a lot of flavors are there in your Bonvita Complan. Okay, so suppose the demand of kesar pista is very very much, but this kesar pista flavor is available with only Complan. Now because I like kesar pista flavors, that is why I will be ready to pay rupees 2 rupees or 3 rupees extra for that. So in that case, my demand can shift from Bonvita to Complan. Okay, because it has kesar pista flavor which I was demanding. But on the other hand, if the flavor of all the drinks, like Complan also has the same flavor, Bonvita also has the same flavor, they have no differentiation, then what will happen? I will obviously go with the one who charges me less. Okay, so they are saying that profitability tends to be, firms can sometimes insulate themselves from price war by differentiating their product. As a consequence, profitability tends to be high. So if there is differentiated product, then I will be able to earn more profit. But if my product is same like my competitors, then of course my profitability will be low. Okay, so, for example, ONGC and Indian Oil cannot offer major product differentiation in the product. Hence, the level of competition would also be high. Like you can go to ONGC also, and you can go to Indian Oil also. You will not, or you can go to the one who charges you less. Okay, because you will not find any difference now. Either you get oil from Indian Oil, or you get petrol or oil from ONGC. There will be same use only. Okay, so that is why you will obviously be attracted to the one who offers you either more quantity or who offers you either less price. Okay, then slow growth. Now if the industry's growth is declining, then of course you have to face a lot of competition because already your industry is not able to grow properly. And in that case, if you have a lot of competitors, or if you have limited competitors also, the intensity becomes more. Okay, so it is so because as an industry's growth declines, rivals would often fight harder to grow or sustain their existing market share. So they are saying that already the growth is getting lowered. So in that case, what will happen? Rivals will not be able to make profit, and they will just strive to survive in the market. So the resulting intensive rivalry tends to reduce profitability for everyone, for all. Okay, so this was your fourth force, and now let's just discuss a very small topic. And if you have noticed, then I have also just talked about it recently only. Okay, in the past few minutes only I have talked about it. Best cost provider strategy. So what is this best cost provider strategy? We will discuss this topic, and then in the next video or next to next video we will end this chapter. So what is this? The new model of best cost provider is further development of above three generic strategies. Now what are these three generic strategies? We will discuss it in next class. But wait, you have to. We will discuss this para tomorrow. That means in the next class. But I'll just discuss it from here. In best cost provider strategy, what happens? That suppose A is also charging rupees 10, and B is also charging rupees 10 for a particular product. But A is providing 100 grams and B is providing 120 grams. Okay. Or you can say that A is providing a quality A, that means a premium quality product, but B is providing a mediocre quality product. Okay, though they are charging the same price, but the quality of A is much better. Okay, so this is what best cost provider is, that charging similar prices as by the rivals with much higher quality and better features. Okay, now for example, Android flagship phones from OnePlus, Xiaomi, Oppo, Vivo, etc. are all rooting for giving better quality at lower prices to customers. They are following the best cost provider to penetrate market. The another you can say the point of best cost provider is that you can charge lower prices, like suppose A was also offering rupees 100 gram quantity, and B was also offering rupees 100 gram quantity. Okay, but A is charging rupees 10, but B is charging rupees 8 for the same quantity or for the same quality. So offering products at lower price, that is what being offered by rivals with comparative quality and features. That means there are two components in best cost provider strategy. First is either you are charging lower prices with the same quality and features, or in the same feature, same prices, you are providing better features and better quality. Okay, so in lower prices you are providing same quantity as your rivals, but in better quality you are providing same prices, you are charging same prices. Here was same quality and here are same prices. Okay, now we will discuss the stable and your focus strategy, cost strategy and differentiation strategy in the next video, and then yours this chapter number 5 will be over. Okay, I'm not able to continuously upload videos, but I am trying my best that I upload videos very frequently and continuously, but I'll try to be regular. Okay, I'm trying to manage it. I'll try to be regular, but till then you just keep revising, as I have already completed chapter number 1. So it is recommended that you should practice chapter number 1 in writing, and also just respond me, just give me your feedback so that I can help you in writing answers. There are a lot of question and answers given at the back of every chapter, so it is recommended that you should solve these answers That means you should first write by yourself after reading the question, and then you should compare your answer with this answer. So in that way, what will happen, you will be able to increase and improve the quality of your answers, and then go for tests. Okay, either you can join chapter wise test series also. There are various good teachers who are providing that, or you can do a self test also. Like you can pick one or two questions, you can just hide its solution and test yourself. Okay, you have to do hard work. There is no substitute for hard work. Okay, so I'll try to upload the next video very soon. Till then, enjoy my old videos. Audit videos are also there, and soon I am going to bring Karo also. Okay, so till then you can watch the videos which I have already uploaded, but you should refer new study material only. Okay, so I'm ending this video here, and do consider subscribing to my channel if you feel that my videos are beneficial. I'm making these videos especially for the South Indian students, so that is why do share my videos also, and hit the like button if you are really liking. You can also press the unlike button and also suggest me improvements which I should include in my videos. So thanking you, all the best.